Hello everyone, today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I'm Tom Worth, and today Donald Trump humiliated himself on the world stage in a way that has never been done before by an American president. He was speaking at Davos. This was a widely expected speech by him to declare his intentions for Greenland. He ratcheted up the expectations for this speech himself yesterday in his long-winded, incoherent, hours-long press briefing to commemorate his first year in office of his second term. And he didn't fail to deliver, but it wasn't in the way that he was hoping to. Before his speech was even over, the EU announced that they would not be ratifying the trade agreement that was really hard fought on both sides last summer. And it was one where he tried to wield his tariff cudgel, and both sides really negotiated really hard and got him down to an acceptable level. And the EU never ratified that. And they announced yesterday that they still had not ratified it. They announced today they would not be ratifying it. The United States is too erratic of a trade partner and still has not abandoned its claims on Greenland. The headline out of this was that the U.S. would not be attempting to take Greenland by military force. That, of course, is nonsense. Anything Trump says he will or won't do is meaningless. He can change his mind. He could have changed his mind by the time I've made this video, in fact. Him saying in front of that crowded room that he would not be using military force, it holds no meaning for anyone. He reneges on so many deals. He gets personally insulted, or someone strategically points something out to him that he no doubt was unaware of. But now, once he is aware of it, he is ultimately consumed by it. That's what I think has happened with this whole Greenland debacle. Recall that with our much maligned security position paper that he put out a little while ago, Greenland wasn't on that. So this has not been something that has been on his radar all along. Yes, he did intend to try to do something with it his first term, but he quickly lost sight of it once he knew that it couldn't be done. Someone's got it into his head that it can and must be done. So that's what he's pursuing. Why was this so humiliating for him? Well, his racism was laid bare with his comments on Somalis in the U.S. About their low IQ because they're Somalis. What is it that's notable about Somalis that would make him think that they, as a people, have a low IQ? I don't know. Take a guess. But he was shocked by the fact that they had a higher IQ than what he presumed their low IQ would have suggested by their scheming in Minnesota. They're frauds. Not only that, but he insulted every nation in the room over there with his World War II comments, saying that the United States won World War II, and were it not for the United States, they would all be speaking German with a smattering of Japanese. He had mentioned that NATO has never done anything for the United States. He said this repeatedly. The United States has never gotten anything from NATO, that NATO has never done a thing for the United States. Dumping all over all of the lives that were lost by the NATO allies during our wars in the Middle East in the 2000s. The only time Article 5 has ever been invoked for NATO, which says an attack on one is considered an attack on all, that they must all defend each other. So only time that's ever happened, and it was because the United States was attacked on 9/11. Therefore, its NATO allies rallied to its defense and lost the blood of their own people in that defense. Trump just glossed over all of that, saying that NATO has never done anything for the United States. He undermined his own tariff arguments. Recall that the Supreme Court is any time now, any day now, if not any week now, supposed to issue a ruling on whether his tariffs are lawful, because he can only do them in the way he is doing them if it is a legitimate national security concern for the United States. He did make mention of that during his rambling speech today, an hour and 12 minutes long. I watched this thing as it was going on, and then a little bit of the Q&A after. You just feel it draining the life out of you as you're watching it. His lack of enthusiasm and energy and slow and quiet and rambling and incoherent, you get caught up in it. You just feel it just being sucked out of you, your own vitality, your own intelligence, your own enthusiasm for life. I can't imagine being in the room with those people. I at least was able to do whatever else I wanted while I was watching this. If I wanted to glance at a phone or get a cup of coffee or whatever I wanted to do, I could put it on pause. I could do that. These people stuck in this room, I really feel for them. But he did make mention early on in his speech, like you could tell he was reading his teleprompter, that he was supposed to hammer home that any tariff threats he was making was in the security interest of the United States. He had to have Greenland for national security, because he is aware that's what the Supreme Court's considering right now. But then as the speech went on, not only in regards to Greenland, but in regards to every trade deal he's struck over his first year here in his second term, he was making it very personal with Macron in France and the leader of the Swiss Federation, just trying to make them sound so weak and so pathetic, and that he was using our tariffs against them to make them do better drug prices in the United States, or in the case of Switzerland, that they make too much money off of the United States, and that's not fair. And because of that, he was hammering her with higher tariffs. And because she was so disrespectful to him and so insistent that he not do that, that he just jacked him up from the 30 he had threatened her with to 39%. How is that in the national security interests of the United States? So he is his own worst enemy in these situations. He can't help but go off the script, and the words belie his true intentions and what really happened. It's nothing to do with national security. That's why these tariffs have been illegal in his first term. That's why he should be overturned by the Supreme Court, regardless of what Besant says or Lutnick say. They should be overturned. And when they are, they will find another way to have tariffs. It won't really solve anything, but at least he will be slapped down by his own Supreme Court. Hopefully. That's coming soon, I think. The other thing he did was he made it so no matter what happens here, the relationship with Europe and with Canada is forever poisoned. Not because of him personally, but because of our Constitution and our system of governance refusing to deal with the threat to the world that he represents. Our Congress could do something about him. The Republicans refuse. The checks and balances in the Constitution are being ignored. And Europe it doesn't really matter to them whether the fault is the American people, like they elected this guy, yes, it is our fault, or if it's the fault of the Constitution for leaving us unable to do anything about it. Well, no, we are completely able to do something about it. Either way, the Europeans are looking at us and saying they are no longer the United States that we knew for the past 80 years. So what are they doing? They're selling their bonds. They're selling their investments in the United States. It started with Denmark yesterday and Sweden today. And what will that do? Well, when they do that, bond prices and bond rates go inverse. So as prices go down, rates go up. So if you have a mass selling of United States bonds, then the price goes down, right? So that means the rate has to go up. You represent a higher risk as people dump your bonds. They're dumping it because you are a higher risk. And in order to reward them and incent them to buy bonds again, you have to offer a higher interest rate. What is the danger of this? Well, regardless of what the monetary policy is for the United States with the discount rate that you hear so much about with the Fed, what's really driving this is the bond market. And even if the Fed drops rates, you can still see rates go up if people are dumping bonds, as entire nations are starting to do, starting yesterday with Denmark, continuing today with some in Sweden. It was a pension fund. I want to say it was a teacher's pension fund. So they're starting small. They're trying to say, hey man, don't do this, because if we dump all of our bonds in the United States, the prices will go through the floor, the interest rates will go through the roof, and if you thought 7% 30-year mortgage rates were bad, wait till you see 8%, 9%, 10%, because that's what could happen if the bond market implodes. You hear about a trade bazooka that the Europeans are considering wielding. This is not that. This is even more harmful than that, potentially, and it would only affect United States home buyers and car buyers and credit card holders. Any debt in the United States, our interest rate would go up. Whereas if they invoke their trade bazooka, their anti-coercion instrument as it was enacted a few years ago, that would crater the entire global economy. So they don't want to do that, the Europeans. They don't want to implode the world economy. They just want to send the Americans the message that they are not playing a weak hand. They are playing an extraordinarily strong hand, especially when they band together. This is what Trump does not get. He has never gotten this. He is, not only does he not see the strength of the United States banding together, he's pitting state against state, region against region, city against rural, race against race. He is pitting himself against everyone in the United States, his personal interests versus the interests of United States citizens as a whole. So this is what he is going to lose at. This is what I said yesterday. China is winning through all of this. They're not winning right this minute today. They did win a few days ago with the strategic partnership with Canada that was struck between China and Canada. But long term, this is all playing into China's hands. The Europeans understand this. They're going to have to start playing ball with China as well. As I said yesterday, the Europeans need large markets for their goods. If it's not going to be the United States, it's going to be the Chinese. It's going to be South America. They just got a deal done with South America that was a long time coming. The Europeans have seen the writing on the wall, and they are no longer looking at this as we just have to ride out Donald Trump. They have seen it for what it is. They have seen that the GOP has destroyed the United States reliability-wise and trade partner-wise and security-wise. And even after Donald Trump, even if he were removed from office today, who steps in, right? J.D. Vance. Does that improve the Europeans' lot in any way? It doesn't. It makes it even worse. J.D. Vance, I guess, is more intelligent than Trump. I'm not really sure. But he is beholden to forces larger than himself, and he knows it. Donald Trump is, but Donald Trump thinks he's the boss because that's how people have learned to play him. Just make him think that this is all his idea, that this is all in his interest, that he's calling all the shots, he's just being manipulated. J.D. Vance holds no illusions as to his place in all of this. He is 100% subservient to the people in charge of him. So I don't see J.D. Vance as a better proposition than Donald Trump at this point, other than the fact that J.D. Vance is not actually insane or suffering from dementia or whatever is going on in Trump's head. Again, none of this is good. It's good that the Europeans are waking up and acting together. They know that the only way they can get through this is together, not separately. Trump has tried to divide them. He tries to call them out to each other. He tries to make their private conversations with him, their one-on-one texts or calls, whether it's with the leader of France or Switzerland or the Netherlands or whoever it might be. He's trying to divide them and separate them, much like he did the United States. And they're not going for it. They are all sticking together. They know they don't have a chance against him separately. So they will band together. They're getting stronger because of this. Good for them. I'm happy for them. Not so happy for us on this day. So do yourself a favor. Don't go look it up. If you want to watch it for a few minutes, that's fine, just to see that I'm not exaggerating with how pathetic and how humiliating this reflected on him personally. But don't waste your time. There's literally nothing there. And anything he said, he could immediately take back. He may have already taken some of it back by now. I don't know. Okay. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Give it a like and subscribe if you would. Let me know your thoughts if you would. I know there's some disagreement as to why he was doing Greenland. We're not going to know. At the end of the day, it's somebody brought it to his attention and now it's in his head and it's not going to go anywhere until something else distracts him. We should all be talking about Ukraine now. We're not. The Ukrainians are freezing in their apartments. I've seen 8 degrees inside of people's apartments. It's really testing them. They're near their breaking point, and the winter is not through. So think of the Ukrainians, pray for the Ukrainians, if you would. If you do that, I know I do. That's what we should be talking about. That's what we should be thinking about, not Greenland. Okay, that's it for now, and we'll talk later.